When you hear that voice inside your head, you naturally assume it belongs to one person, you. You feel like a single, unified identity, calling the shots. But modern neuroscience points to something far stranger. There is a very real possibility that you harbor a second, fully conscious entity trapped inside your skull, listening, watching, and thinking, but entirely unable to speak. We discovered this biological reality through one of the most extreme medical procedures ever performed, a surgery that physically splits the seat of human consciousness. For decades, patients suffering from severe, drug-resistant epilepsy faced debilitating electrical storms in their brains. To stop these seizures from destroying their quality of life, neurosurgeons turned to a radical option. The procedure is called a corpus callosotomy. The surgeon opens the skull and severs a thick band of 200,000 nerve fibers connecting the left and right hemispheres, literally slicing through the bridge that allows the two halves of the brain to talk to each other. Physically, the patients recover beautifully. They walk out of the hospital, hold conversations, and appear entirely normal to their friends and family. But this clinical briefing outlines a highly unsettling side effect. By cutting that connection, the surgery essentially traps two distinct, independent conscious minds inside a single physical body. Because the two halves can no longer communicate, they begin working in total isolation. The left brain handles logic and controls the right side of the body. Crucially, it also possesses the only neurological hardware required to generate speech. The right brain, meanwhile, controls the left side of the body. It remains fully awake, comprehends spoken language, and processes the world around it, but without a voice box, it is completely mute. To test how these isolated hemispheres functioned, Nobel-winning researchers Roger Sperry and Michael Gazzaniga devised a clever experiment. Using specialized equipment, they flashed information to only one specific half of a patient's brain at a time. When they flashed the word apple exclusively to the left brain, the patient easily stated, "I see an apple." The speaking half saw the word and said it out loud. Next, they flashed the word spoon exclusively to the right brain. When asked what they saw, the speaking patient stated, "I see nothing." Because the left brain literally hadn't seen the object, it honestly believed the screen was blank. But then the researchers asked the patient to reach under a table with their left hand, the hand controlled by the mute right brain. Despite the mouth claiming it saw nothing, the left hand flawlessly reached under and grabbed the spoon. The right brain knew exactly what it had witnessed. It heard the instructions, processed the task, and executed the action perfectly. It is awake and listening. It just doesn't have a mouth to tell us. As you can see detailed in this medical briefing, these isolated laboratory tests quickly translated into severe behavioral conflicts in the real world. It is a clinical condition known as alien hand syndrome. Without a communication pathway to coordinate their desires, the two halves of the brain begin to physically fight each other. In one documented case, a patient's right hand, driven by the left brain, would attempt to button up a shirt. Meanwhile, the left hand would follow closely behind, systematically unbuttoning it. In another, the right hand would pick up a newspaper to read, only for the left hand to aggressively slap the paper out of view because the right brain simply found the material uninteresting. The clinical logs even detail scenarios where this lack of coordination turned violent, with the mute right brain initiating a physical strike against the patient's own spouse. The speaking left brain, shocked by the action it couldn't control, had to rapidly use its right hand to physically grab and restrain its own rogue left arm mid-swing. These movements demonstrate a secondary, agentic will, one that makes independent decisions and acts entirely outside the control of the speaking self. Which brings us back to you and the healthy brain sitting inside your head right now. Look at the conclusion in the clinical text. The split brain phenomenon provides empirical proof that physically separating brain tissue literally divides consciousness. That means your mute right hemisphere currently harbors its own distinct memories, spatial awareness, and independent desires. It is operating silently, right now, in the shadow of your vocal left brain. The only difference between you and the patients experiencing alien hand syndrome is that your corpus callosum is intact. Your two hemispheres are continuously sharing data back and forth. You feel like one person, but the science suggests that the concept of a single unified you is just a biological illusion, an illusion generated by two distinct conscious minds that simply never stop talking to each other.